Today I want us to think about equivalent fractions. If you don't have it already, go ahead and go into your desk. You can pause the video if you need to. Take out a piece of paper or your math notebook and follow along as I go along. So you can consider this slide number 1. So, we know that equivalent fractions are when a fraction, apologize for that, when a fraction takes up the same amount of space of a whole as another fraction. So we're comparing two or more fractions. So let's take a look right here. We have 1/4 equals to blank eighths. So we want to figure out how many eighths is equivalent or takes up the same amount of space in a whole as 1/4. So what we've been doing in class is we've been using number bars. So carefully on your paper, and I'm going to try to make this as neat as possible, just like you are. Draw a big fraction bar on your paper, and then split it in half. We have 2 fraction bars. And if that doesn't appeal to you, what you can do, and I'm about to show you, my eraser doesn't work super well. My goodness. Okay. Another way that you can do this is you can draw 1 fraction bar, and then you can duplicate it on the bottom. It is very important that these fraction bars are the same size. So let's label the top fraction bar 1/4. So we have 1/4. And we have, I don't know how many eighths. So let's split the top fraction bar 1/4, and I'm going to do this one in red. Okay? So we know that 4 is an even number. The denominator is an even number. So we can always, if the denominator is an even number, you can always split it in half first. So I split it in half. Okay? So now I have 2 equal parts, but that's not enough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split each half again in half. Okay? And so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. You may pause this video and catch up to me if you'd like. So now I need to think about, okay, so the fraction 1/4 is telling me 1 out of these 4 pieces needs to be shaded. So I'm going to make that happen. 1 out of those 4 pieces are shaded. Done. So I've represented 1/4. So now let's move on to blank over 8. I know, because it's the denominator, I need 8 parts. 8 equal parts out of the whole. So I already have 4ths drawn. And the handy thing about 4ths and 8ths is that, well, 4 goes into 8. So we can draw these lines down. We can drag these lines down. 4ths go into 8ths. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. But I don't have 8 pieces yet. So now all I have to do is split each 4th in half. You can pause this video if I'm going too fast. Okay? I can split each 4th in half. Now I have, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 equal pieces. So now what the question's asking is 1/4 takes up the same amount of space, so I have 1/4 here. 1/4 takes up the same amount of the whole as how many eighths? Let's see. This many eighths. 1, 2 eighths. So we can reasonably say that 1/4 over here takes up the same amount of space as 2 eighths. So we can say 1/4 equals 2 eighths. For those of you stuck on the algorithm, this is the perfect time to prove it using an algorithm. We know how many 4s go into 8. 4 times what equals 8? Times 2. And how many 1s go into 2? 2 of them. And because these match, so let's try that again. These match, we know that 1/4 reasonably is equivalent to 2 eighths. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, 1/3 equals 1/6. So let's get started right away with our fraction bar. Draw 1 fraction bar and the second one. They're the same size whole. There we go. So we have 1/3 on top. Now thirds are a little difficult. 3, as you notice, is not an even number. It's not an even number. So when we do thirds, we just have to eyeball it. Okay, let's just try it out. 3rd, 3rd, okay? That seems just about equal. You can pause this video if you realize that your thirds pieces aren't very equal. That's okay. So on the bottom, the second fraction bar, we have something over 6. And the handy thing about 3 going into 6 is that Well, 3 goes into 6. So what we can do is we can copy this fraction bar on the bottom. We're copying the thirds. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3 pieces. And now I'm going to split each third in half. 1, 2. Each third into half. So let's count how many pieces we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. That was easy. We have 6 equal pieces. Now let's go back to the third. I forgot something crucial. I need to shade in 1 out of those 3 parts. So let me shade in 1 out of those 3 parts. 1/3. Okay. And how many 6, now I need to think, how many 6 take up the same amount of room as that 1/3? Let's see. 1. Well, that doesn't take up the same amount of room. This is not as big as this. Okay. 2 6. Well, there's more like it. This takes up the same amount of room as this. So we can say that 1/3 equals 2 6. And for those of you still proving with an algorithm, 3 times what equals 6? Times 2. And 1 times what equals 2? Times 2. These match. 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 So now I've double checked my work. Alright, last example. Go ahead, you may pause this video if you think you've got it under control and you can solve it. If you haven't, watch. Alright, so now we have 3/4 equals how many 8s? Alright, so let's get started. I have my fraction bar. We're going to go a little bit faster this time. My second fraction bar. Okay, 3/4 equals how many 8s? Okay. So I know that on top, this time I'm going to use purple, 3/4. Alright, I need fourths. Fourths split in half first. Some of you are way beyond where I am. That's totally okay. Make sure your work matches mine. So now I have 2 parts. Now let's split it into 4 parts. Boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4 beautifully even parts. And now the fraction is different. It's this 3/4. So I need 3 out of those 4 pieces shaded. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so let's do the 8s in blue. Okay. So I know that with my 8s, again, I can copy the 4s. Copying the 4s down. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not right. So now I'm going to split each 4th in half. Half, half, half. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 glorious 8s. So now I need to figure out. And you may pause this video if you want to see if you can beat me in figuring it out. How many 8s are the same size as 3/4? How many 8s? Did you get it yet? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 8s is the same size as 3/4. And for those of you non-believers who are like, I still don't know where you're coming from, let's take a look at that algorithm. 4 times what equals 8? 4 times 2. And 3 times what equals 6? Times 2 again. Now we have a match. We have a match with the algorithm. So I've double checked my work. Alright, so now some of you are ready to go. Please number your paper 1 and 2 and take a look at these examples. Number 1, 2/4 equals how many 8s? I need to see a representation with a fraction bar, just like we did here. With a fraction bar, this is the fraction bar. And then you can double check your work using the algorithm. I don't want to just see the algorithm. So again, number 1, 2/4 equals how many 8s? And for number 2, 1/2 equals how many 4ths? Please do this both on a piece of paper. You can turn it into my back table whenever you are ready. Nice job.